It is a big day for the Tacoma build here. We got some suspension parts in. Oh, that's heavy. That is one of our leaf packs. Number 2. And this is the rest of it. All right, so this is a U-bolt flip kit, one of the front coilovers, extended brake line, a rear shock relocator, so I'm gonna have to relocate the rear shocks, weld these onto the rear axle. A rear Bilstein shocks that's gonna go with our leaf spring, just some bushings, some leaf spring bushings, another adjustment tool. These are the plates for the U-bolt flip kit. Lots of hardware, more bushings, and that's it. That's all we got in the box.
We've been working hard over the past several weeks to get this 23-year-old Tacoma prepped and ready to head up to Alaska in July. There's something satisfying and rewarding about working on old trucks. They're just so simple.
And who's flying the plane?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to worry too much about getting everything exactly perfect. It becomes more about learning the skills, working with your hands, and watching a project come together over several weeks. The truth is, I really don't know what I'm doing. I have no formal training when it comes to mechanics, only hands-on experience and a desire to learn over years and years that has gotten me this far. I usually bite off more than I can chew with projects like these and learn how to do things along the way, for better or for worse. Our suspension system has just arrived, which means it's time to turn some wrenches. I've also uncovered the unfortunate fact that the frame on this truck has seen better days. By now, everyone should know that old Toyotas struggle terribly with rust, especially if it's been daily driven in harsh winter conditions. I've gotten away with not having to repair the frame yet, but my good luck just ran out. I found a crack on both sides of the frame, just in front of the leaf spring mounts. This means I'll have to cut into the frame, remove the rusty sections, and muster up a repair somehow. So let's get into it and bite off more than we can chew, as usual.
I'm not really sure where to go first. I'm thinking about doing the fronts first because it's the easiest option, and I kind of just want to get the fronts in, and so I don't have to think about it anymore. Then I can really focus in on the back and spend some time back there, because there's a lot going on in the rear. We have not only the leaf springs and the bushings and the shocks, but then the U-bolt flip kit, and then the shock relocation mounts and the extended brake line and all the hardware. So there's a lot going on in the rear, so I kind of just want to get the fronts out of the way, don't have to think about it, and then we'll start tackling the rear. Sweet, cut the wheel off, take this shock out, put the new one in, adjust the height, we're good to go, easy.
Wrong. Nothing is ever easy on old trucks. By now, you'd think I would know better.
I was getting the shock out here, and I noticed that unfortunately one of our axle boots is ripped here, so I'm gonna have to pop this axle out here quick, and we're gonna have to replace a CV as well while we're in here. So it's just interesting, you know, when you start taking stuff apart, sometimes you find stuff that's other stuff that's broken and needs to be repaired. So it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of these old trucks, right? Let's get this axle out and a new one popped in real quick. The longer pry bar. On these CV axles, there's a collar on the other side of the spline that goes into the diff, and you have to pop the collar past the stop, and then the axle will come out. Sometimes it's just a bit of a pain. There it comes. Yes. Ah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. Not. Drop the knot. Threaded. Okay, so that's gonna stay there now. Thank God. Oh.
Another day of working on the Tacoma here. I've got the front end pretty much all buttoned up with the new coilovers, the new CV axle, the new lower ball joints. So now we're going to be working on the rear. Man, there's just so much still to do. There's a few parts that I don't really know what I'm doing. I have to weld on some new lower shock mounts, and I've never done that before. I can I can do some basic welding. I just have to relocate the lower shock mounts because I'm doing the U-bolt flip kit. So it's going to be a learning experience for me. So let's get into it. But man, the truck is coming along. I'm super excited.
The bolts hold this rear leaf spring on. The U-bolts are so tight and so rusted that I struggled so much to get the other side off that I ended up just cutting the top of the U-bolt here just with a cutting wheel, and that was a super easy way to get these U-bolts off. I'm not going to be reusing these springs or these U-bolts, so I'm just going to go ahead and slice them right off.
The thing about old trucks is they've got soul. Every dent, every scratch tells a story, a memory. To me, it's better than brand new. You learn its quirks, its stubbornness, and in return, it teaches you patience, resilience, and a little bit of mechanical know-how. Keeping an old truck on the road isn't just about saving money. It's about preserving something real, something with history. In a world that tells you to save the planet by buying a new car and throwing things away for an upgrade, an old truck is a reminder that the best things in life aren't disposable, and they're worth working for.
Here is one of the old leaf springs. Out. Done. There's this block too. Spacer block, spacer lift. I had to cut the bushing here because these bushings are these. I had to cut this bolt that went through the end of the bushing because it was just so rusted. My God, these leaf springs have probably never been replaced. And so I've just got the axle supported on 2 jacks here so it doesn't tip too far, because you can see it's just kind of, it can go all over the place right now, so I don't want to rip the yoke or the drive shaft there completely out. I need to lube up these bushings here that are going to sit in this eyelet. And then in the middle of the eyelet is going to sit this metal sleeve here. I'm going to use a silicone-based lubricant here, just a touch, to keep things from squeaking too much, because sometimes these polyurethane bushings can start to squeak if they're not lubed up properly. It can make a lot of noise, and it can have premature wear. Inside surface, the outside surface. Push it in there like that. Slide this in. One side done. 3 more to go.
The pile of used parts is starting to add up. Every piece we replace is another step toward keeping this truck on the road for years to come. Seeing the growing pile of parts makes me think of that old question about if you replace all of the components on a ship, is it still the same ship? If it's no longer the same ship, when did it stop being the original ship? My opinion is, if more than 50% of the components have been replaced, it's no longer the same ship. I don't know. I'd like to know your answer on this one.
I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I don't know what it is. I had to cut the 2 front bolts for the leaf springs there, so I had to order these bolts here because I cut the front ones off of the leaf spring mount, and these are hard to find. These grade 8 bolts that are correct size. I actually had to order these online. It took them a few days to come in, but I went to like a couple of hardware stores, a couple of fastener stores, and couldn't find this bolt. I was running all over the city, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go online and order them, pay the shipping cost for 2 bolts. It was pretty pricey, but I mean, they are original Toyota.
Getting to install the new leaf springs on the truck is really giving me a sense that the project is moving forward and making progress in steady fashion. It's a big component on the vehicle and has a large impact on the look and feel of the truck. I can't wait to get this thing out on the trails to see how this new suspension system works.
Let's do probably the back first again. Who made these things so heavy? Let's try to go. I know, I'm gonna have to move it. Okay. Oh, got your side?
It's almost done. If you just pull it forward, like towards the head of the truck, yeah. And then it's kind of in.
Good. And if it goes up into that? Is it going up into this?
It's going up. It's going like too far forward. Yeah, it's a bit far forward now.
Okay, I can smack this with that. Look at that, Hamilton. We're going to get into this U-bolt flip kit here. So these are the new U-bolts, and these are the new plates here that I'm going to be replacing. These are the old plates. I'll show you here. This is what I took off. So this used to sit on the bottom of the axle housing, and then the U-bolts would come up and over. And now basically I'm just going to flip the whole thing, because this hangs down below the axle housing quite far, and it's one of the lowest points. And when you're off-road, these spring plates here tend to get caught up on a lot of stuff. So if you can move them up and out of the way, you have much more ground clearance. So that is the purpose. That is the purpose of this U-bolt flip kit. So let's open this and rip into it and see how we're going to install this U-bolt flip kit here. Oh, I have some tin snips. Yes. Ah, fresh new U-bolts. Take a look at that. That's a nice looking thing. Not rusty or crusty at all. And then some hardware here. Awesome. And then let's get into these plates. And my garage is just such a mess right now, just with this lift kit install. I have not been doing a good job of keeping everything clean like I'd like to, but those are the new plates. Pretty sweet. All right, so this is an extended brake line, and it's just needed because the factory rubber one isn't long enough for when the rear end of the truck is lifted with these new leaf springs. So I've taken the old one out, and now we're going to go ahead and put the new one in. Hopefully it's not going to give me too much trouble here. There we go. Do the bottom one first. The fitting on the bottom doesn't spin, so I have to spin the entire brake line, which is fine because I've already got it snugged up there. But the top of it does spin around nicely, so I can install that now. Nice extended brake line. Time for the wheels to go back on and to get the truck at ride height again so I can install the shocks. It's always a good sign in the project when the jack stands are coming out. Ugh. I really don't want to have to do this. This is a section of the frame of my truck. And that's because my frame is cracking and rusting. I have a crack, so on my current frame, I have a crack that runs right along the base here, just in front of the front leaf spring mount. And it's cracked on both sides, so I had to get the driver's side and the passenger side. This kind of thing is so common on these trucks that there's a company that specifically makes sections of the Tacoma frame for people like me to buy and weld in and keep their truck running for another, 250,000 miles. So we just did a whole whack load of work to the truck already, and I was installing one of the last pieces on the build when I noticed that the frame was cracked. So you can imagine my disappointment when, after weeks and weeks of work, I see that the frame is cracked. I'm going to show you guys where this rust spot is on my frame, where the crack is, and then you'll kind of see how that replacement piece is going to slide up in there, and the piece that I'm going to have to cut away and fab up. So here, let's slide under the truck and I'll give you a good view here. So this is the back of the truck, right by the bed and the rear door. Here's the frame, and here's the crack. Yeah, look at that. Big old crack. Actually, it's about, I would say, 4 inches, but it probably goes a little further here too. And then over here, I had to drop the fuel tank out of it. The fuel tank sat right here, right? And then this side is also cracked. This side's a little bit worse. Check that out. So it kind of sucks, right? But at least I caught it now rather than being out on the road in Alaska and finding out that this is a problem, right? Or, altogether, you've seen the photos of these frames just completely snapping, right? So glad that I caught it when I did, and glad that they have the replacement parts to fix it. I'm also working on the Troopy today. Guess what I'm doing on the Troopy? Oh yeah, fixing rust. The corner up there. Had to cut some rust out, do some welding, fix the gutter. Man, I swear keeping both these things on the road is a challenge sometimes, but we love it, right?
So yeah, it's a big bummer that the frame is cracked. I'm trying to stay optimistic here, but the truth is that it just sucks. Sometimes it's okay for things to suck for a little while. It's a good opportunity to learn to embrace the suck and to move forward. In the end, everything worth pursuing in life will be hard. There's just no way around it. But what you do have control over is choosing your hard. So get out there and find the difficulties that are worth fighting for. I'm really not sure how to fix this or how long it will take, but I do know I'm going to give it my absolute best and come away with a vehicle that I'm proud of. For now, the truck remains on jack stands, longing for the day it goes to Alaska. Thanks for watching this episode. Stay tuned for more Tacoma repairs. Please consider subscribing to our channel, and we'll see you in the next adventure.
Look at all of this dirt and rust coming out from this frame. Oh man, just pulling this thing apart. There's definitely still some good metal back there, but holy man, that is a dustpan full of like just chips and dirt and pieces of frame. Oh, I think I'm done grinding today. I got most of the frame grinded down to bare metal, got all the rust chipped off, and I just took a look in the mirror and my face is just a little dirty. I feel like I look like I've been working in a coal mine or something all day. Jeez, oh man. Oh man, I am tired and I'm ready to stop grinding. It's been a long day.